Well, as the controversy over fishing rights continues, the relations between the UK and France have hit turbulence. Well, that's Boris Johnson's word for it. On Thursday, France seized a British trawler. Now it's threatening to block ports, increase checks on boats and lorries coming from the UK. And at the heart of it is a row about the UK denying some boats a licence to fish in Jersey's waters. Well, French officials say they will prevent boats from landing their catches in some ports from next week. So what's to be done? Michael Fabricant is the Conservative MP for Lichfield. Good morning to you, Mike.
Good morning, Vaughan.
You made the point in Parliament this week that this is nothing new, and indeed it's the oldest trick in the political playbook on both sides of the channel. If you're in trouble at home, pick a fight with the other side, ask the Plantagenets, as they say. And yet there are real issues at the root of it.
But I think the real issue is that there's going to be a general election in France in April of next year, and Macron's fortunes are doing very badly at the moment. They did very badly when it came to rolling out the vaccine. France did worse than other EU countries, and of course the EU was way behind the UK, and there were constant references in France in newspapers and on the radio and television making comparisons with the UK.
They caught up now, though, haven't they?
They're catching up. Of course, one of the problems we've now got in the UK is not shortage of vaccine, but the shortage of people willing to get a vaccine. We need to get younger people vaccinated, but that's a different story.
That's not the French's fault, is it? You can't blame them for that.
No, but the French are very, very concerned about what may happen in their general election. And of course, the Prime Minister of France wrote a note to the European Union and said it is essential to demonstrate to the European public that it causes more damage to leave the EU than to stay in. And they're saying that not because of the fact that Britain has actually left. They're not getting at the British. What they're getting at is the rival parties who also want a referendum in France. Frexit, as they call it. I've seen posters in the past on French lampposts about just that.
To be fair, though, British politicians aren't immune to a bit of foreigner bashing, are they? We've got plenty of examples when things are going wrong at home that you suddenly stir something up about the British sausage or bent bananas or whatever. This is standard political practice the world over.
That's right, and we've got to get round it. In fact, it was very much the case that President Galtieri in Argentina was in trouble that caused the whole Falklands War in order to create popularity. So as you quite rightly say, you pick an argument with a neighbour, and this has been going on for 1,000 years. I was saying in the House of Commons there's a marvellous history book out called 1,000 Years of Annoying the French, and this constantly goes on. The relationship between the UK and France is we love to hate each other, but the fact is that the UK has granted 98% of all the French licences who want to fish in UK territorial waters. And the 2% who haven't been granted is because they couldn't prove that they'd actually fished previously in British waters.
Well, we can argue about whether it's 2% or 10%. There's some dispute about that. But the point is that the ones who've been denied are by and large the small, inshore, family-operated, salt-of-the-earth type fishermen that are the very people that, if I may put it like this, the Brexit wing of the Conservative Party tends to fetishise a little bit in Britain. It's not the industrial trawlers have got their licences, it's the inshore boats that have been
but the
suffering.
French are doing the same to us as well, and we're not saying we're going to impound vessels and all the rest of it. Now, I think the French are doing it for political reasons. The French government is worried they're going to lose the next general election in April, and they're trying to do something that's desperately popular. And to be honest with you, I think that none of this would be happening if there were general elections in France, say, in 18 months' time.
Final thought, it's always struck me that sort of fishing is to right-wingers what mining is to left-wingers, that these were huge industries which have actually, to all intents and purposes, disappeared in Britain. They're not very important, and yet there's something fetishistic about coal mining for people on the left and something fetishistic about fishing for people like you.
Well, I'm not on the right, you know. I mean, I might be a Brexiteer, but I'm a bit of a pinko, actually. So don't put me in with that.
For the Brexit wing, then.
All right.
You know, we remember the photos of Kate Hoey and Nigel Farage, you know, sailing up the Armada, sailing up the Thames, and all of that. I mean, I'm just sort of faintly bemused by it.
Well, it's to do with sovereignty, and that's what it was about. I mean, various people voted for different reasons for Brexit. I wasn't so much concerned with immigration, because immigration can be very good in this country, but I wanted sovereignty. I wanted control over who comes into the country, who doesn't, and that includes who goes into our territorial waters and land and who doesn't. And, of course, small fishing boats is one of them, and we're quite happy to license these boats. But the United Kingdom maintains, and I don't know the detail, but there was absolutely no truth that these fishing boats who've been denied a license had previously fished in British territorial waters before. And, you know, the European Union always claimed that they're an organisation of rules, although they seem to break the rules when it's convenient for them, like allowing Italy, for example, into the European currency when they never met the technical requirements for that. You know, but we've got to be by rules too, and so has Europe. And the rules were that if a small or large fishing boat hadn't fished in British territorial waters before, they wouldn't be issued a licence now. And that's what it's all about. And, of course, mainly the fact there's a French general election coming up, and it looks like Macron might well lose.